Hello everyone, I'm Professor Choi. Thank you for joining my class in this particular semester. I wanted to give you a quick overview of how my class runs. And this particular class is going to be ECO 2023 Microeconomics, now with Hubbard, MyLab, and Canvas for our learning management system. My name is Rene Choi, and I'm going to be your professor in this particular class. My email is choir@pbsc.edu. And all of the class information that you need is going to be posted on Canvas. This particular video is basically made so you get an idea of how the class basically runs, but you have to read all the important stuff on the documents that I usually leave on Canvas, and also an email that I usually send and an announcement that's posted on Canvas. So again, all of our class information is going to be on Canvas. You probably want to be again aware of how the system works and all of that, so you want to get in there as soon as you can. This class is usually taught in different modalities, so it could be anywhere between fully online to fully face-to-face. Usually the modality will be explained before you register into the class, but in case you haven't, I want to give you a quick overview of how it normally works. So if your class is fully online, what it normally means is that we are asynchronous, so there will be no day where I'm going to meet you. You have to basically do everything online. However, my class is created in a modular way, so it's super easy to follow. All you have to do is basically follow my module list. They go from 1 through until the end of the semester, and then your job is to basically follow every module in order all the way until the end of the semester. And depending on how many weeks you're with me, then you have to work on the modules at a particular speed. So for example, if you're with me on a 6 weeks, then you want to work on every module, basically go through a set of modules every 2 weeks. If you are with me in 12 weeks, for example, you probably want to work on a particular set of modules every 3 to 4 weeks. And then if you are with me in a 16-week semester, then normally you would be working on a set of things every month or so. Now, the deadlines for everything are basically posted on the must-read syllabus, so you got to get there at some point and read that. It's going to be on a module called Syllabus and Important Files. Now again, when you're fully online, the class is asynchronous, so you have to make sure that you keep track of all the deadlines. Normally I send announcements and I send reminders, but just in case, it's your job to basically know when the deadlines are, and I make them very clear at the beginning of every class usually. If your class is live online, then that one usually has some kind of meeting online where we're going to be seeing each other usually once a week or so, and I will be reminding you while you're joining me, but it will be basically an online class with the professor being live usually once in a while. If your class is blended, what that normally means is that there's going to be some kind of physical class component, and then the rest of the assignments are usually online. So we normally meet about half the time. So let's say this is a 2-day-a-week class. We normally meet once a week, and then you work online the rest of the week. If the class is face-to-face, then that normally means is, we're back in the classroom where it's 100% in the class, and we're going to be seeing each other very regularly in a physical location at the school. Now again, all of my classes have something called a must-read syllabus. It's a document that's usually posted right at the top of all the important things when you log into my Canvas class. So the document is posted on Canvas, and it's in a module called Syllabus and Important Files, and you want to read that document rather quickly when you get to the class because it gives you an idea of when all the things are due. So you're going to be working on those before you get to that day. You want to be working on each module in order. If you skip out modules, usually that's not a good idea because the material usually built on each other. So by the time you get to like module 7, then you're expected to know some of the stuff on module 1 through 6 to get to it. Every single one of my modules is usually very self-explanatory. So what you basically have to do is you read the first thing on the module, which will tell you basically what you're supposed to be working on. Right after that, there'll be a video for you to learn the material. There would also be PowerPoints for you to review the material, and then if you want, you can also read the book, which in this case will be an ebook that will be available online for you to read that chapter. Now those are the ways for you to basically get familiar with the material, and then after that, I'm going to grade you excuse me, by doing assignments. Now these are the assignments that you normally have. Again, they'll be described on the most read syllabus, but usually you have 4 tests. where the final is optional. In a nutshell, the way it works is we have 4 tests, and then I usually drop the lowest score. Now, it's optional. Test 4 is optional in the sense that if you're already happy with your test 1, 2, and 3, you basically don't have to take test 4. However, let's say for example you got a bad grade on test 2 and you want to substitute that grade, then the whole idea is you got to take test 4, and then if test 4 is higher, it will substitute the grade on test 2. So you have 4 tests, of which you have to basically take 3. There's also 1 discussion board post per module. Discussion board posts are basically just questions that I ask you for you to think about economics and how to use it normally on your day-to-day life. And also is a way that I keep track of attendance. You're expected to be working, by the way, on all of these things on every module regularly. You're not expected to wait until the last day and then try to submit them after 11:59 p.m. If that happens, then I normally do not accept the late assignments. So you want to be working on discussion board postings regularly and weekly. There's also 1 homework per chapter, and you also have 3 quizzes. I'll explain that a little bit more right here. So the weights also, by the way, for each assignment are explained on the must-read syllabus document that again you find on the module called Syllabus and Important Files. And again, you want to get to, when you get to Canvas, you want to get to there and read it as soon as you can. So let me give you a quick overview of how the class is basically designed. There's a set of modules with chapters on it. Sometimes the module is really long, sometimes the module is fairly short. It has a set of chapters that are basically related. And then when you complete those related chapters, there's going to be a quiz and a test. So there's going to be a set of modules. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 5, usually around 4. And then once you go through the set of modules, each module is going to have a video for you to watch. It's going to have PowerPoints for you to read. It's going to have potentially, if you want to read again the ebook, it will be there. It would also have a discussion board, and it's also going to have a homework. All this stuff is usually open from day 1. That's for the first set, the second, and the third set. So you can basically get it started whenever you want. But they do close as the semester goes by. So once we go through a first set, there's going to be a major due date where all this stuff is due, and then quiz 1 is there for you to test your knowledge, and then test 1 is available on this particular day. It will normally be available in for 2 days. Now, homeworks have 4 attempts, of which I keep the highest score. Quizzes have 4 attempts, of which I keep the highest score, and then tests only have 1 attempt, 2 hours long. So the whole idea is not to wait until the end, is to basically walk your way through the modules nice and slow, and then prepare for that day of the test. And you prepare by doing the homeworks, the discussion board postings, reading the material, and then eventually taking the quiz to basically kind of test yourself. All of those assignments are graded, and then eventually test 1 is the big assignment that wraps up all of that. All the due dates for these things, again, are on the must-read syllabus, so you want to read that. Now once you go through the first set, there's going to be another set. So we have another set of modules you got to do. Again, each one of them with a video, each one of them with a discussion board, each one of them with a homework. And again, you want to walk yourself really nice and neat, regularly through those. Eventually there'll be a due date where you have a quiz and you have a test also that you got to take. And then there'll be another set of modules, and the modules again have videos, PowerPoints, and so on. And there's going to be homework per chapter, discussion board posting per module, then another quiz and another test. On this particular due date, it's usually the last day that I accept any late assignments. So basically, I won't take any assignments after this particular due date on test 3. Again, this due date is on the must-read syllabus. After that, the only assignment left will be test 4, and then it's for those of you who need to take it because you want to substitute one of the other tests, and tests are major assignments. You want to learn the material as if you were basically with me in class, so you want to be watching my videos actively. You want to basically print the PowerPoint or basically write them on your notes, and then take notes so that you can basically prepare same way you would normally prepare if you were watching me regularly in class. I hope you got an idea today of how the class is going to work, and again I want to thank you for taking my class, and I hope you have a nice day. Good to see you.